Hello and welcome to the Rise and Thrive podcast, your guide to self-discovery. I'm Melly Rose, helping you to overcome fear, build self-awareness, create stronger relationships, and uncover your truest self. Tune in and let's embark on this transformative journey of self-realization and enlightenment together. It's time to empower yourself shamelessly and unapologetically. Your full potential awaits. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, we're going to talk about the unknown and taking risk. The unknown is the inescapable mystery of life's direction that we all must face. Should you stay? Should you go? Where will it take you? Should you take that leap of faith? These are all questions that we ask ourselves when we come to a crossroads. It could have to do with career and applying for that big shot position you've been eyeing for a long time. It could have to do with love and relationships. Should I pursue this? Should I ask them out? Should I stay in this? Is it for me? Or it could have to do with you finally making the decision to bet on yourself and follow your dreams, even if it makes absolutely no sense to anyone else but you. The fear of the unknown has the potential to make or break us in terms of where we end up in life, because it's so often that we operate and make decisions unconsciously from a place of fear. This is something that we need to become aware of and conscious of in order to make decisions that are in the direction of growth and progress rather than stagnancy. While the comfort zone is cozy and secure because it's what's familiar to us, it's also a double-edged sword in a sense because it's not a place that really cultivates any growth or progress for us at all. And you usually end up feeling stuck in the very secure box of safety that you created for yourself. For a long time, I found myself feeling stuck, and I realized the only thing stopping me from moving forward was fear. I knew that deep in the core of my being, that I was more of a creative person, and pursuing anything else would just be living a lie. I knew I would just be fooling myself. I needed to pursue something that was in the creative field, but doing this would rock some boats and disturb the peace. This made me especially nervous because I was also trying to break the pattern of being a people pleaser. If I wanted to move forward on this path, I knew that I would need to stand up for myself and do it with conviction and set some strong boundaries. No matter how difficult and uncomfortable it was also a very necessary decision for me to make if I wanted to live a life that felt fulfilling instead of just going through the motions. And while I can't say that it was easy at all, I can tell you it was 100% worth it, and if I had to do it again, I would, because now I'm living a life that is so much more fulfilling and in alignment with who I truly am, and I'm happier. When you make a decision from a place of being true to yourself and wanting, of course, a positive outcome or a positive solution, it will always work out somehow. It doesn't always go according to plan. As a matter of fact, it usually doesn't. But bumps in the roads and even failures are all a natural part of the process. And usually, they're set in place to redirect us to a solution or to a direction that we wouldn't have considered otherwise, and that might end up being better in the end. Looking back on my own story, I can see that the fear of taking the risk was very much tied into the reaction I might get, and also wondering if I could actually make it. What if I fail? In order to step into the unknown, I had to first face my fears that were stopping me in the first place. It was sort of a rite of passage in a way. In overcoming my fears, I empowered myself in a way that I never had before. I rose above them, and in doing so, simultaneously leveled up my life. It's not a walk in the park, but that's usually how it works. So, what's the risk keeping you from the reward? Are you afraid of letting someone down? Are you afraid of what might happen as a result? Of all of the changes that might come? Are you afraid to fail? Be honest with yourself. Take the time to get clear on what is keeping you stuck, and write down the pros and cons if it helps. But once you do get clear on this, make sure that you take the time that is necessary to work through, process, and overcome this fear in a safe and healthy way. It can be a process, and it takes patience, but it's very necessary to do if you want to make a decision that is going to lead to your ultimate fulfillment in life and your growth and your own happiness. I'm going to share a few things to keep in mind that someone very wise told me, and I think that they could really help you too. Real living begins outside of the comfort zone, and the risk that we don't take could end up being the things that change our lives for the better forever. Don't let the fear of uncertainty or failure stop you from trying, and get comfortable with failure. Anyone that's ever succeeded in anything has failed plenty of times. Life is short, and we don't have as much time as we think. None of that time should be spent living with any regrets over the things we didn't do because of any uncertainty that we had. Making the most of the time that we do have should be a priority. If you want to live a life that is true to who you really are, it's going to require taking risk time and time again. And you're going to find yourself in situations where you need to choose between what's more comfortable or what's mysterious and on the unbeaten path. Of course, mystery does have a way of pulling us in because there's something to be explored and uncovered there. Our expansion lies in the unfolding of that mystery, which is why it tugs at us in the form of dreams that we want to pursue, or leaps of faith that we think of taking. And it might not always lead you to what you anticipated, but it will always lead you to what is ultimately for you in a way that you would have never thought of otherwise. And it will always lead you to your authenticity. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, bye for now.